How do you build a career you actually love? I mean, that's the big question, isn't it? It's something we all think about. And today, we're going to dive deep into that by exploring the really powerful and sometimes kind of controversial ideas from Cal Newport's book, So Good They Can't Ignore You. We have all heard this a million times, right? This is the classic advice from people like Steve Jobs. It's become the gospel of career advice. Follow your passion and everything will just fall into place. And you know what? It sounds incredible. But what if that whole idea is not just a little off, but actually terrible, damaging advice? Yeah, that's the provocative idea we're going to get into. So let's start by tearing down why this whole passion thing might just be a trap. Okay, so first we have to talk about what Newport calls the passion hypothesis. This is the belief that we all have some kind of pre-existing passion, just sitting there waiting for us to discover it and match it to the perfect job. The thing is, the actual science tells a totally different story. Research from people like psychologist Amy Wisniewski shows that for most of us, these clear, job-ready passions are super rare. Most people just don't have one when they're starting out. And this just flips the whole script. Passion isn't the thing that gets you started. It's the reward you get at the end. It's a side effect. It's that feeling that grows after you've put in the blood, sweat, and tears to get really, really good at something. It comes from being competent, from seeing that your work matters, and from that confidence that you know what you're doing. So, if the passion mindset is a trap, what's the alternative? Well, Newport suggests something he calls the craftsman mindset, and it's a completely different way of looking at your work. And here it is, the fundamental difference. The passion mindset is all about you. It's asking, what can this job, what can the world do for me? It's all very inward looking. The craftsman mindset, on the other hand, asks, what value can I offer the world? It's about your contribution, not just your own personal fulfillment. Let's be real, this is what we all want, isn't it? The freedom to be creative, to feel like our work has an impact, and to have some control over our own lives. But here's the kicker that Newport points out. These traits are rare and they are valuable. You don't just get to demand them on day one. You have to earn them. So, how in the world do you earn them? This brings us to the engine of the craftsman mindset, building something called career capital. I want you to think of career capital like currency, like money for your career. It's the collection of your rare and valuable skills. The more of this skill capital you save up, the more leverage you have to go out and buy the things that make a job truly great, like more freedom and a bigger impact. You build this capital not by just showing up and clocking in hours. No. You build it through something called deliberate practice. This is a focused, almost scientific effort. It means you're always pushing yourself right to the edge of your abilities. You're constantly looking for real, honest feedback, even when it stings. And then you just repeat, always trying to get better. Okay, so you've done the work. You've been grinding, building up that skill capital, and now you're ready to cash it in for more control, more autonomy. Sounds perfect, right? But hold on. Newport warns us to be really careful about two specific pitfalls he calls the control traps. Trap number one is trying to make a big move for more control before you have the capital to back it up. You jump the gun, and it usually doesn't end well. Then there's trap number two, which is the funny paradox of getting really good. Once you become so valuable that you can demand more control, your boss is going to do everything possible to keep you right where you are. Now, Newport's argument is really compelling. It makes a lot of sense. But is it the whole story? I don't think so. To really get the full picture, we have to look at some of the fair criticisms of his theory. So critics point out a few things. For one, his rules for when it's okay to quit a job are, well, really strict. Then later in the book, he talks about finding a mission, which kind of sounds a lot like passion, just with a different name. And a big one is that the examples he uses often feel cherry-picked to fit his argument, and they don't always account for things like luck, privilege, or just raw talent. And this right here is a perfect example of that. The book contrasts Lisa Fuhr, who quit her ad job to become a yoga instructor, with Joe Duffy, who built this huge ad agency. But when you actually dig into it, you find out their starting points, their levels of career capital were just not comparable at all, which makes the whole comparison a bit misleading. Okay, so what do we do with all this? How do we put it together? We can take Newport's fantastic idea of career capital, mix it with these valid criticisms, and build a more complete, more useful model for actually making career choices. And that brings us to the 3 axes of success framework. Instead of thinking about your career as a single line from bad to good, I want you to picture it as a 3D space, a space defined by 3 core dimensions: wealth, autonomy, and meaning. First up, wealth. Now, this isn't just about your salary, okay? This is a direct evolution of Newport's career capital. It's all your valuable skills, your knowledge, your network, all the stuff that gives you economic freedom and options down the line. Second, we have autonomy. This is that key ingredient of control we were talking about. It's having the freedom to decide what you work on, how you work on it, and when you do it. This is a massive driver of actually being happy at your job. And third, meaning. This is about your impact on the world, but with a really important twist. It's your counterfactual impact. Let me break that down. The question is, if you weren't doing your job, would someone else just come along and do it just as well? Real meaning comes from the extra good that exists in the world only because you are the one doing the work. What's so brilliant about this model is it shows that every career is just a set of trade-offs. Look at this. A tenured professor might have huge autonomy and meaning, but maybe not a ton of wealth. A research scientist in a big company could have high wealth, but maybe less direct social meaning. And then you've got the entrepreneur, who's shooting for all 3, but taking on a massive amount of risk. There's no single right answer here. So this leaves us with a much, much better question. Instead of getting stuck on that fuzzy, paralyzing question, what is my passion? This framework gives us a real tool. It lets us be strategic and ask ourselves, at this stage in my life, right now, which access am I optimizing for? Is it wealth, autonomy, or meaning? And the answer will probably change over time, and that's okay. The point is to decide what's most important to you right now.